on American Case File. Jason Voorhees, dead or deadly?
3, 2, 1. This is Ari Lehman, the first Jason Voorhees from Friday the 13th. And this is Not for Air Radio.
All right.
Video.
Field correspondent Justin Sprauer for Not for Air. We're here with the one and only Ari Lehman, the very first Jason, and he's more than happy to give us an interview. So how did first Jason come to be, and who are your influences?
First Jason is my musical project that is inspired by the Friday the 13th series and the mythological character Jason Voorhees. We are a punk metal horror comedy duo, and I play a heavy metal keytar that looks like a machete and has a Jason mask in it. I'm sure you have pictures of it.
Oh, yes.
So, how did it come to be? Well, I've been a musician all along, and what happened was, I did a horror convention. Now, how did I do that horror convention? It was because somebody had contacted me on internet, on email, and said, "Did you sign this photo?" I said, "Well, I never signed a photo before in my life." He said, "Well, somebody just sold me this for $50 on eBay." I said, "What the heck, man?" So I said, "Okay, all right, well," so he said, "You should come to this horror convention." So I learned about that, and then I realized I should create a musical project that was related to Friday the 13th, hence first Jason. You know what, bro? Let's bring this over here.
Okay. We'll be right back. Okay, we're back here with Ari Lehman. How did you actually make the machete keytar?
Well, the idea originated when Nefarious, the bass player from Macabre, had the suggestion that I create some sort of keyboard instrument that I could perform with. Then I originally used a cosplay sword from a manga that I happened to find, this really big one. So then my good friend Jake Rich, he came from a special effects team called The Brothers Rich, and he said, "Man, I could make you a machete." And there it is. So he made a machete, and it has a Jason mask in the hilt. And
which I did take a photo of, folks. You will see it.
It's an Alesis Micron keyboard that's been duct taped to a machete, and that's we have a lot of fun with it.
Okay. Now, according to your bio, you've actually done a lot of things with reggae and African music. What was it that attracted you to the metal punk scene?
Oh, well, interestingly enough, yes, I was originally doing that, and then, you know, when I got on the horror convention circuit, I realized, okay, you know, people love punk metal on this circuit, and so, you know, there's such a wonderful confluence of, you know, horror, tattoos, you know, haunted house people, metal, you know, this is just a great group, punk, and so we all come together, horror punk and burlesque and all these wonderful things, and we all bring it together. And so I realized, hey, you know what? Maybe I can hit them where they live. And, you know, tonight is a triumph. It's great to play in front of an appreciative audience. It took me a while to make that transition, Justin, from being a world music performer to being an underworld music performer.
The underground scene, yeah, that's right. Now, I saw the video for Jason's Bride. It's a great music video, but how come it didn't make it on the album?
Oh, well, that was, I wrote that after the album was recorded. Yes. In 2009, we made that album, and I didn't write that song until 2011.
Well, it's definitely a good album, and hopefully it'll be on a good song, and hopefully it'll be on the next one.
Thank you. Oh, no, it definitely will be. I would have played it tonight.
And your whole album's great, too. I actually bought it on iTunes. It was phenomenal.
Oh, thank you.
You really nailed the punk sound.
Thank you very much.
Now, some of the fan questions that we have, the first one comes from one of our DJs, Matt.
Okay.
He wants to know, what was it like wearing all that prosthetics underwater, or all the...
Well, that's a good question, Matt. Mr. Tom Savini, the special effects maestro, who comes from the tradition of the great Lon Chaney and Dick Smith, that now The Walking Dead, Greg Nicotero comes from that same lineage. So Savini was the man who created this, and it was created out of latex, because we didn't use CGI back in the day. So, you know, it was latex, and it took about 4.5 hours to apply. And when we were underwater, we had to make it so that we were only underwater for less than 5 minutes at a time, because the latex, you know, it wasn't very waterproof.
I can only imagine.
There you go.
So now, our founder, Justin Jordan, says, aside from you, who was probably your favorite person that portrayed Jason?
Oh my gosh. Well, I think every actor who's played Jason has done a wonderful job, and they've all brought something new to the role. There's Warrington Gillette and Steve Dash from Part 2, and then there's the great Richard Brooker from Part 3, who's the first Jason to wear the mask. In Part 4, they have the man who was John Wayne's stunt double for 17 years, Ted White. Probably the toughest of all the Jasons, and that's for sure. Even though he's an 80-something-year-old man, he's still the toughest. Then there was Part 5, where it's not really Jason. Then in Part 6, Jason sneezes.
Isn't it tight?
Thank you. Part 6 was C.J. Graham. Part 7 through 10 is Kane Hodder. Yes, and then you have Freddy vs. Jason, Ken Kersinger. And then Derek Mears is the new Jason Voorhees.
What did you think of the remake? Did you think it could live up to the other films?
Well, I think it was a little out of context. But you got to give him that water skiing scene. The topless water skier with the, you know, Jason does the crossbow. And
I actually like that because it made him a bit of a hunter. You know, he lived in Crystal Lake. He figured he learned a few things.
That's right. He's faster. He's smarter. He's got a personal trainer or something. Maybe he's going to community college. I don't know.
What would you say was probably the worst film of the series?
Oh, you can't ask me that.
Even I said, I think it's Jason X. The guy looked like Darkwing Duck, okay?
I like Jason X.
Do you think Jason could really beat Freddy Krueger in real life?
Of course.
Thought so too.
Freddy Krueger's just a dream. And he's a lot shorter than the real Jason, than the big Jason. I'm just baby Jason. But that said, my friend Robert Englund is a great actor who I really like a lot.
Did you ever get a chance to play the Friday the 13th NES game that came out a long time ago?
Way back, yes, I have, and I've signed many of those. Yes.
Did you like the game at all, or did you think it was?
I'm not a big video game buff, but you know, I was more into like the Star Wars game, like flying around shooting things.
Okay, well, who else do we have? Would you consider Jason to be a zombie?
Well, that's an odd question. I don't really consider Jason a zombie, but it depends on how you define zombie, I suppose. To me, Jason, well, there's still a mystery as to how little Jason became big Jason. And the only person who knows the answer to that mystery is me. Because the whole thing happened in my mind. I'm the actor who had to actually make that transition. So, I'm pretty sure that he's undead, but I wouldn't call him a zombie.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Let's see, Brian Dykowski said, what horror movies did you grow up on?
Oh my gosh, I love horror movies. I'm a particular fan of German expressionist horror movies like Nosferatu, Der Golem, Dr. Caligari. But also, oh gosh, I love the Hammer films. Oh man, I love, for instance, Curse of the Werewolf starring Oliver Reed, one of my favorite werewolf movies. Oh my god, one of my favorite films is Night of the Hunter, starring Robert Mitchum. Everybody should see that because that's, in essence, the first American slasher film. Then the Dario Argento and the Italian psychedelic horror, like Deep Red and Opera, one of my favorite films. You know, and you could go on forever. Nowadays, I like movies like The Orphan, the series, the Wreck series from Spain is one of my favorites too.
Mm-hmm. Did you get to keep any of the props from the movie?
No. I should also say Hellraiser. I love Hellraiser series.
That's also a very popular film series.
And they're going to remake that again soon.
Are you against film remakes, or?
No, I think, you know, everybody deserves a chance to be creative, you know, and so they should try to be creative.
Let's see, given your age at the time, did you understand about all the sex and violence that was going on in the film?
Yes.
And your parents?
It was the 70s.
And your parents were okay with everything?
Yeah, back then, being open-minded about sex and violence was considered, you know, ethical. And, you know, we didn't try to hide ourselves from some of the realities of the world. I think there's a lot of repression going on now that might lead to unfortunate situations at times.
Yeah, sorry, folks, my laptop's on the ground. Just seeing who else I got here. But
what's the next question?
Let's see. I have a friend named Derek Effen who would like to ask you something.
Oh, we're down there. Good. Keep going.
Okay.
You need to wrap it up, baby.
All right. If given the chance, would you play Jason again?
Well, I couldn't play Jason again unless they had me play an old baby Jason, which doesn't make any sense. Next question.
Okay, this is going to be the last question. If you could see just the final demise of Jason, the one thing that's going to kill him off for good, that's it, what would it be?
Jason never dies. Never. Jason never dies. Don't you understand that? That is the curse of Crystal Lake. Of Crystal Lake. He never dies. He is cursed to roam the earth, eternally seeking vengeance, which will never be rewarded. He can't even become injured. He's regenerative.
If you think people would just leave Camp Crystal Lake alone, he just never hurt anybody?
No. You'd find somebody.
All right, well, I gotta thank you for your time, Mr. Lehman.
I just want to let you know, Jason never dies. And what's the name of the show again?
Not for Air Radio.
You are watching a radio show. I don't know how you're doing it, but you're doing it, so you must be pretty cool. You are watching Not for Air Radio with my buddy Justin right here, who's a trooper, because he waited all the way till the end of the set, because he had all these great questions, and they are very good questions. And you all remember, Jason never dies.
Thank you, Ari.